It's great to have you back. This audio is called The Laws of Millionaires. When it comes to money, wouldn't it be incredible if you could think like wealthy people so that you could be wealthy too? While there are many things that make them different, there are a few basic laws of millionaires that make the difference between struggling with money and being wealthy. If you want something you've never had, you have to do something you've never done. Wealthy people think and act differently. They feel differently about money than the average person does, and that's why they're not average. The average person has over $6,000 in credit card debt and only one source of income, while wealthy people focus on increasing income, increasing sources of income, and increasing wealth. Most millionaires are first generation and self-made. The reality is that becoming a millionaire isn't all that uncommon anymore, especially if you do the right things. Live by these laws and you too can become one of the millions of new millionaires created each year. In this audio, I'm not going to be talking about the ultra-rich billionaires, but the average everyday millionaire, those who have a net worth of $1 to $20 million, because I believe this is achievable for anyone who wants that kind of wealth. In other words, a real-world achievable amount of wealth and riches. Let me also preface this training by saying, you don't have to want to be a millionaire to benefit from this program or this specific audio about millionaires because this applies to you at any level of income. Even if millionaire is not your goal or expectation, these laws of millionaires will help you stop struggling with money and start creating a life of financial security and financial freedom. So let's get into the laws of millionaires so that you can start becoming financially free and attract more wealth into your life. Law number 1. Money solves problems. Most problems are caused by a lack of money. If you could write a check for it, the problem goes away and you don't have that problem anymore. For example, if your refrigerator breaks and you don't have money to buy a new fridge, well, that's a really big problem. But if you have sufficient amounts of money, you can have a new fridge before the end of the day, before the food spoils. So you don't have that problem. Maybe you have an inconvenience, but you don't have a problem. And if you have a personal assistant, that person can do the research, the purchasing, and organization so that by the time you get home, the fridge is there waiting for you. And if you have a house manager, the food will be transferred as if it never even happened. This is a real-life example. But even if you don't have a personal assistant or a house manager, there's no stress over handling this inconvenience if you have the money. You simply order it online or go to the store and buy a new fridge. Obviously, not all problems are solved with money, but if you think about it, most problems are related to money. Don't like your job, but you don't have 6 months of savings, then you're stuck at that job. That's a lack of money problem. You're overweight, and no matter what diet you try, you can't keep it off. But if you have the money to hire a personal trainer, a nutrition coach, and a mindset coach, you'll then lose the weight and get fit and stay healthy. What about relationships? Money can't solve problems, you might say. Really? Money lack and money stress causes most problems in relationships. But even if money stress is not the problem in your relationship, money can pay for coaching, counselors, vacations to reconnect, and a couples retreat program. An abundance of money gives you the added power to fix things in your life. The best way to solve your money problems is to earn more money. Combine that with the second best way of reducing expenses. Keeping expenses low should be an ongoing effort so that you continuously honor the value of money. That is a foundational wealth strategy. Most people focus on saving money. That's a bad idea if the focus is on saving money over making more money because it'll reduce the flow of money into your life because it transforms you from a mindset of abundance to a mindset of scarcity. Get a job and save money is what you've been told over and over. That's the mentality of the 1950s and the 60s. Now, that will keep you stuck and struggling with money. Why is that? Because that model doesn't really work anymore. That's a model of scarcity. Should you have more savings? Of course, for emergencies and mental peace of mind. But after that, it's a bad strategy. Your goal should always be to increase the amount of your financial net worth, meaning that you're always becoming more and more wealthy in real-world terms. This means that your investments, retirement accounts, cash savings, business value, automated income flow, and assets are consistently increasing. Here's the amazing part. The more your wealth increases, the faster and easier it will increase and gain momentum. If you are starting from nothing or starting from a negative position, the early part of your transformation is the hardest. But you will see the magic happening soon, not just in your wealth accounts, but the way you feel about your finances, the direction you're going in, and yourself. Financial stress will be converted into financial happiness and confidence. When I started training for my run across America, the first 2 months were the hardest. It was the months before I saw or felt improvement. While I had absolute confidence I would succeed, on a daily basis I wondered if it was truly possible. But I kept doing what was necessary to make it happen. I put in the miles, day in and day out. Then something incredible happened. I started to feel stronger. My mileage increased. My speed increased. My recovery was faster. Then eventually my body gave me the confirmation of my belief. It was possible. Then in a little more time, I knew without a doubt I would finish. The magic about this was that I was always getting stronger, but I didn't always feel that way. It didn't always look that way, but it was happening. It was subtle. It was unnoticeable. This is what it'll be like in your finances and your wealth. At first, progress will be slow or feel slow. It might even feel painful to start a brokerage account, deal with bad credit history, or invest money every week. But these are the things that will make you rich, and even a millionaire if that's your goal. When you have the right habits and take the right actions, everything aligns and anything becomes possible. If you want to be debt-free, it's possible. If you want to retire when you're in your 40s, it's possible. And lots of people are doing that. Do you want to be financially free so that work is optional? That is becoming more common all the time. You say that you want to be a millionaire? Come join the club. There are millions of new millionaires made every year, so why not you? Seriously, why not you? Did you hear that? There are millions of new millionaires created every year, so why not you? Why not you? For that to happen, you need to think, act, believe, and feel like a millionaire does. One of the things they do is focus on how to make more money from more sources of income. For that to happen, you need to think, act, believe, and feel like a millionaire does. One of the things they do is to focus on how to make more money from more sources of income. This means that you don't have money coming in from just one source of income, but multiple streams of income. Law number 1 is the mindset that money solves problems. The more money you have, the easier it is to solve problems. A millionaire's mindset is a mindset of growing wealth and increasing income and money. Millionaires know that money makes life easier. Money solves most problems. Money allows you to express yourself. And money lets you help others and support causes you care about. Law number 2, wealth is a birthright. I was on a video call the other day with a client. He's a life coach helping Christian teens to be strong and confident. But his business is not profitable and he's living on savings from his previous career. What's the problem? He has been brainwashed to believe that it is more spiritual to be broke. So now he has an internal conflict to earn money. So the first thing we worked on is recalibrating his mind for wealth, because without it, he will always struggle with money. Most people's mindset about money and wealth, it's screwed up. Bad. But the truth is that wealth is a birthright. Most people are programmed for scarcity. Even if they have wealth for a period of time, they will then lose it because their money mindset is set to broke or just getting by. How can that be when our society glorifies money and expensive things? Older people grew up with their parents that lived through the Depression, and they were taught that money is hard to come by or easily lost. Others were taught that it is more spiritual to have just enough money, and others were taught that wealthy people are greedy and bad. Others grew up with parents that never figured out how to manage wealth, so there was always a lack of money. A lack of money causes stress and problems at home, even if they were good moral people. Bad money mental programming and habits is the cause of most bankruptcy. And often a lack of money is a significant cause of divorces. There is also a lot of bad money programming and a lot of money fear going into your subconscious mind. It's no wonder why you have so many internal conflicts with money and wealth. Many people think that wealthy people are greedy, corporations are greedy, rich people are bad. The only people I've ever heard say this, frankly, are broke people. Some say this because it's a justification for where they are, while others say this is because they've been burned or they saw their parents get burned financially. Movies love to portray the wealthy people as the villain and the hero as the everyday person. The news likes to highlight the evil corporations or the corrupt people with money. But you rarely hear on the news about the wealthy people who donate millions of dollars to build a library, a church, or fund a program that helps the needy. The reality is that money is not good or bad. Money is a tool. Money is an extension of who you are. How it is used depends on the person who has the money. People are good and bad, and money can be used for good or bad. Money is a tool, and how it is used depends on the person who has it and their motives for using it. You're a good person, right? So doesn't it make sense that you and people like you have wealth and prosperity? Doesn't it make sense that good people like you are wealthy, because the more good people in the world with wealth, the better the world will be. Wealth is your birthright. Did you know that some of Jesus' apostles were some of the wealthiest people of that time? So why do many people equate wealth with a lack of moral or spiritual direction? It doesn't. But lots of broke people, including religious leaders, like to justify their lack of wealth by saying it is morally more spiritual to be broke. If that were true, then why were some of Jesus' apostles the wealthiest people of their time? If that were true, why are churches, synagogues, and mosques stunningly beautiful buildings? If being broke was a moral virtue, then why are hospitals built with donations of wealthy people? Why are foundations to feed the poor funded often by very, very wealthy people, and nonprofit organizations funded by the wealthy? I was raised by a pastor, and my grandfather was a reverend, and I tell you from firsthand experience that their money mindset was screwed up. We struggled with money, but other religious leaders and families that we knew did not struggle with money. Why is that? It's not the spirituality, but the money mindset. A lack of money does not equal better moral virtue. A lack of money is not more likely to get you in heaven. Being wealthy does not mean that you lack moral virtue. A lack of money means you need to recalibrate your mindset for wealth. Money is a tool. How it is used depends on the person. If the money were innately a bad thing, and people with money were innately bad, then why is it that wealth people donate the most money that makes this world a better place? Money is your birthright. What a person does with money and how a person uses money is a representation of their moral values, not a representation of money itself. It can be used for evil or for good. That choice is up to you. If you're a good person, then you should have more wealth, because you can and will do more good with money. Money and abundance allows you to express your values more in the world, meaning taking care of your family, supporting causes that you believe in that will benefit the world. This is law number 2. Wealth is your birthright, but it is also up to you to be worthy of wealth and abundance in your actions and mindset. Law number 3. It's not about how much you earn, it's what you do with it. The first 2 laws of money are about the mindset of money. That is because without this foundation, you will always struggle with money. And even if you come into a windfall of money, if you do not have the right mindset about money, it will disappear in a short time. Of course, I'm always going to support you in earning more money from multiple streams of income. That's the fastest way and the ideal way to become wealthy and financially free. Regardless of how much money you make, the most important thing is what you do with the money you earn. Most people are embarrassed where they are financially, often because they haven't made great financial choices. But that doesn't matter, and it doesn't matter how old you are. There are many stories about people who become wealthy later in their life, in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and even beyond. And here are a few examples, some of my favorites. Stan Lee of Marvel Comics was 39 when he became a millionaire. He went on to be worth $50 million. Vera Wang entered the fashion industry at 40. She's now worth over $500 million. Martha Stewart didn't get her big break until after 40 with her first book. Now she's worth over $400 million even after the legal issues she's had. Taikichiro Mori is one of the richest people in the world, but he didn't get his first taste of wealth until he was 51 when he got into real estate. Ray Kroc of McDonald's was in his late 50s when he bought out the other owners of McDonald's. My favorite story is Harlan Sanders of Kentucky Fried Chicken. He was 66 when he started the franchise KFC. It took him 9 more years to become an overnight success at 73 years old. I can go on and on with examples like these. And if these inspire you, then it's your turn to become a millionaire too. I truly believe that if you want something bad enough, that means you also have the ability to make it happen. That's the magic in you that is whispering to you saying, I can do it. So go make that happen. The only thing that's stopping you is you. We also need to mention everyday success stories like recovering from a bankruptcy or overcoming a financial setback from divorce, and all of the other people that leave a job they don't like to pursue their dream and start their first business. There are countless, millions and millions of people who are debt-free for the first time. Your first $100 you put into a wealth and freedom account is the most important. The first dollar you make from automated income is the most important. The first credit card that you pay off is the most important. The first time you decide to eat at home and invest the $70 it would have cost you to eat out, that's the most important. We like to focus on the big dreams and big success stories of people who've made their first million or their 100th million. But what we forget is that it took the first hamburger sale, the first Vera Wang purse sale, the first online store sale, the first dollar made in your home-based business. These are success stories just as important as breaking the first 100,000 or the first million. These small successes add up to the big successes. Even if you're just getting started or starting over, what you do with the money you make is the most important thing to your lasting wealth and financial freedom. What if you're starting out from zero? Or you got a late start towards wealth? Or you're starting over? Most people who listen to this program are either starting from zero, had a big setback, or they want to level up their wealth. So don't think you're alone in turning around or leveling up your wealth and financial freedom. Maybe you're just starting. Maybe you went through a divorce and so you're starting over. Maybe you had a financial problem. Maybe you never seriously did anything to become wealthy. You might already be doing okay, but you want to level up your wealth and freedom. It doesn't matter where you are or how old or how young you are, the rules of millionaires still apply. It's not how much money you earn, it's what you do with it that matters most. What does that mean? There are many people who became millionaires and financially free working a regular job with ordinary pay. How did they do that? They were smart with where their money went. Obviously, the more money you make, the easier it is. But even on a very modest salary and with time, you can become very wealthy and financially free. So let me give you an example to inspire you and help you understand the power of high money vibration mindset, because the reality is that anyone can become wealthy and financially free, even in a very modest paying job. Ronald Reed was a gas station attendant, and then he was a janitor for a JCPenney store. He always had a very modest income, as you might imagine. He was very frugal and smart with his money because he lived on such a modest salary. When Ronald died at 92, he was worth $8 million. Even his family didn't know that he had a huge fortune because he was modest and had a low profile like his job. How did this World War II veteran get so wealthy on such a modest income? He was smart with his money and he invested as much as he could. He invested in stocks of good companies and he held them for a long time. And at 92 years old, he owned 95 stocks in his portfolio, mostly in solid blue chip stocks. After his death, he donated almost all of it, over $1 million to his local library and almost $5 million to the local hospital where he had breakfast at the hospital cafe almost every morning. And I imagine the $1 million left over went to his family. He's not the only person on a modest salary that was worth millions. Theodore Johnson worked as a driver for UPS, a relatively modest salary. When he was telling a friend that he had no money to save, a friend asked him a question that changed his life. What would happen if you were taxed an extra 20%? Theodore said that he wouldn't like it, but he'd make it work. And that's what Theodore did. He took out the first 20% of his take-home pay and he invested it. And this was before retirement accounts like we have now. 50 years later, he was worth over $70 million. To give you a perspective, Theodore retired in 1952, making a salary of $14,000 a year. That means he saved close to $3,000 a year on his salary. So let's say we 5x those numbers to make it similar to salaries today. Say you're making $70,000 a year. To live like Theodore, you'd be investing and saving 20% of your income. Or that's about $14,000 a year. And you know what? That is still lower than the maximum contribution you are allowed to make to your 401k. A 401k is a retirement account if you don't know. And that's just one simple tool to become a millionaire even on a relatively modest income. The final story, just to drive home the point, Sylvia Bloom was a legal secretary who shocked people when she donated over $6 million. She was worth over $9 million in total. Like the previous example, not even her friends and family knew that she had that kind of fortune. She worked for the same law firm in Brooklyn, New York until she retired. She made a good salary but nothing out of the ordinary. But she invested her money through her life. I give you these 3 examples of millionaires next door because these are people who donate fortunes way bigger than their lifestyle or their salary would ever have you believe. And it is proof that you do not need a huge income to become wealthy, because it doesn't matter how much money you make. What matters is what you do with it. In today's economic opportunities, anyone, and I mean anyone and everyone, can become wealthy and financially free. I share these stories with you because it doesn't matter how much money you make. What matters most is what you do with it. You can become a millionaire on $50,000 a year or $500,000 a year. But you could also be broke and struggling with $50,000 or $500,000 a year. It all depends on how you spend your money. While many people become super wealthy with Ivy League university degrees, high-income jobs, or executive-level careers, it can happen to anyone with even the most modest income. People become wealthy and financially free because they have the lifestyle and the mindset to become wealthy. It is first and always a mindset and a choice. The examples I shared with you show the long-term effects of long-term investing in the stock market. But there are many, many ways to become wealthy. Buy and hold real estate, a home-based business, start a side hustle, buy and sell used cars, art, or antiques. The options are endless, and ideally should be a combination of many sources of income. But my favorite way is with automated or semi-automated income, and we'll talk about that next. This was Laws of Millionaires number 3. It's not how much you earn, it's what you do with it. Laws of Millionaires number 4. In this section, you are going to learn how to supercharge your wealth. In the Laws of Millionaires 3, I shared with you several examples of people who became wealthy over a long period of time on modest salaries. I shared that with you so that you would truly understand that income is not the limiting factor to becoming truly wealthy. That said, if you increase your income, you will increase the speed to living a financially free lifestyle and become a millionaire and have a better lifestyle in the process. Even if you are very late to the wealth and financial freedom money game, it's not too late. That's why I shared the stories in the previous audio about Harlan Sanders, Stan Lee, Martha Stewart, and all the others that didn't become wealthy until later in life. So it is still possible in your 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and beyond. There are lots of stories of late wealth bloomers. How do you do that? The Laws of Millionaires number 4. Multiple sources of income. You've probably heard that phrase used often, but what does it mean? Especially, what does that mean for the regular person who has a job? First of all, you probably already have multiple sources of income. The basic sources that most people start off with are the following 3 sources: income from a job, a 401k retirement plan, and a primary home. Naysayers and critics will argue about this list, but that's what naysayers do. They argue about things. But these sources of income are the easiest way for most people to get a start and create wealth. Then build on that wealth for true wealth and freedom. But Croy, I read in a book about the rich dad and the poor dad, and he says that a house is not an investment. In fact, he says it's a liability. You're right, that's what the book does say. But that's bad advice from someone who's trying to be controversial because it gets him on the news and podcasts and sells books. He's right that it's not the best source of wealth creation. But he's absolutely wrong that it's not a source of wealth creation. In fact, the most common source, especially for everyday people with jobs. This is the way most people start. Your primary home is an asset that will grow in value and be a fantastic hedge against inflation and will become a primary source of retirement wealth for many people. A primary home can also become a launching pad for more wealth by using the value and equity in a very smart way. I talk about this in depth in my full course, Money Vibration Code. If you're not already a member, click on the link on this page to get started and join the family. Obviously, your job is a source of income and has the potential to create wealth if you use it wisely. While I am an advocate to run your own business, I also realize that being a business owner is not for many people. There are many people who do not desire to run their own business and many who do not have the right personality to run a business well. A job working for a company is the best solution for many people, as long as it's a job that you're happy with. The problem is that more than 70% of people do not like their job. More than 70% of people report in survey after survey that their job is the greatest source of stress in their life. If this is you, then you need to quit. Seriously. Maybe not this second, but you need to make a plan to leave that job and find a job that you enjoy, a job that gives you a sense of fulfillment. There's no reason why you cannot find a job that you enjoy and maybe even love. Odds are that you can find a great job that also pays more money. The only reason you don't do it is because you have some bullshit mental story telling you why you can't leave. And so here are some common excuses so that you're aware. Jobs are hard to find. We're in a bad economy. I don't have enough education. I don't have the right experience. And there are dozens more. These are all excuses to keep you in your comfort zone. As they say, it's better the devil you know than the devil you don't. But I think that is a terrible phrase, a horrible phrase that's kept many people in bad jobs, bad circumstances, bad relationships with toxic people. Why the hell would anyone stay in a toxic environment for a long time? But many people do, because it seems easier than making a change. Give yourself a break and some self-love. Instead of finding reasons that it won't work, start seeking reasons that it will work, and then make it happen. Everything changes with the decision to do something different. But to do something different, you need to step out of your comfort zone. For many people, wealth is also increased with a 401 or a retirement account. Critics will complain that the 401k is not something that you can access right now, which is correct. But it is still an excellent foundation to your long-term wealth. Not being able to access your 401 retirement account is a brilliant feature because most people would dip into their retirement account if they could access it easily. Think about it. The temptation is far too great to dip into your retirement account if it was easily accessible when you want to add a deck to the house or renovate a kitchen or buy a boat. A 401 or a self-directed retirement account should be one of your first methods to increase your wealth, especially if you have an employer that's matching your contributions. An employer matching your retirement contributions is free money. You literally have to be an idiot not to max this out. A job, a 401k, and a home are great places to start wealth, but then to become financially free, you have to do more than this. Especially if you want to become financially free while you're young, or if you're late to the game of wealth and need to play catch up. First, let's discuss what financial freedom is. Financial freedom is having enough cash flow so that you do not have to work. This means you have enough income that covers all your living expenses and adds to your wealth whether you work a job or in your business or not. For example, let's say you have a home with $2,000 expenses of a mortgage, taxes, and utilities. You have a car payment of $400 and monthly food and living expenses of $1,000. This equals $3,400 a month to maintain your lifestyle. Then you want to keep adding to your wealth, so let's say that's another 20% or roughly $600 a month. So in total, you have $4,000 in total lifestyle and expenses. To be financially free to the point where you do not have to work, you need to have an income of $4,000 a month. Typically, that would happen from a job, but in this case, you want to be able to replace your job income with other income sources. How do you do that? This happens through investments, real estate cash flow, dividends, annuities, business cash flow, royalties, rental income, automated online business, affiliate marketing, network marketing, and many more. The goal is to create financial freedom with income sources that give you money even when you are sleeping or lying on the beach. But to get there, you need to create these sources of income. While the ideal focus should be creating automatic and passive income, sometimes it's easier and faster to simply create additional sources of income as you build your cash flow so that you can build your long-term passive wealth. What does that mean? If you have a job, this usually means a side hustle that will make you extra money. When I was a teenager, I used to flip cars. I'd buy a car that was a good deal, then I'd sell it for a quick $1,000. I did that for many years. Then I started to buy homes and I'd flip them. Sometimes they needed work, sometimes they only needed to be cleaned up, and occasionally they didn't need anything at all other than better marketing. This was very profitable and it would make me anywhere from $25,000 to almost $100,000 per transaction. One thing that I wish I would have done differently is that I should have started to buy and hold property for rental income in addition to flipping homes when I was in my 20s. I liked the fast cash of a flip, and I didn't want to manage houses at that time. But a much smarter play would have been to be doing both short-term and long-term money. But the way I started was doing a side hustle. But the way I started the construction company was by doing a side hustle. Before I started a construction company remodeling homes, I did side jobs at nights and on the weekends. I would renovate a bathroom or build a deck in a weekend and make more money in 2 days than I did all week at my regular job. It didn't take me long before I realized how stupid it was to keep my day job. So I quit and I became a full-time business owner. My job stayed small, but as my client list and referrals grew, so did the jobs. At the time, I was 26 years old and I was doing jobs that were way over $100,000 contracts. My net was generally about 20 to 30%. So going into my own business, I 4x'd my income in 1 year. Plus, I started flipping houses on the side and made even more money than the construction business. So eventually I stopped the construction business and only flipped houses. It just made sense. But that wasn't what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. It was a brilliant means to an end, and I was good at it. And a side hustle that turned into a full-time job that grew into a real estate investment business. Eventually, I stopped flipping real estate and followed my passion and purpose, which is bringing courses to you like this. But make no mistake, I paid my dues to get here. Anything great is worth the effort to get there. I share this with you to help you see that increasing your income with a side hustle or starting a business is an excellent way to increase your income that may actually turn into a full-time business or a full-time income that will probably be way more than you're making right now. That is, of course, if you are pulled to the idea of being a business owner. Plus, if you have a side hustle, you can use that side hustle as a tax write-off to reduce the amount of taxes you pay on your regular job or your regular business. Now, this isn't tax advice, but it is a great benefit to starting a business. Once you start a business, it gives you many additional legal tax benefits that you can legitimately use to reduce the amount of taxes you pay. That sounds crazy. You can make more money but pay less taxes? Yes, and it's legal, and it's possible because of the way our tax code is written. But if you simply get a second job, a regular second job to increase your income, you'll pay more taxes because you don't have the tax benefits. In today's world, there are so many online and remote work methods to earning more money as a side business so that you can increase how much money you make while giving you the tax benefits of a business. Do you have the skill to do a side job? Do you have bookkeeper skills? Can you build a website? Do Photoshop editing? Do research? Are you a good writer or an editor? Can you be a consultant on nutrition, business, lifestyle, fashion, or parenting? Can you be a tutor for kids, or teach adults, or teach another language? If you can do any of these things, then you can offer your skills on websites like Fiverr.com. There's a great story on CNBC about a woman who's making over $300,000 from side jobs on Fiverr alone, and she started it as a side hustle. Many people make thousands of extra dollars a month by making crafts and selling them online, finding stuff at tag sales and selling them on eBay. You can be a delivery driver, an Uber driver, or rent out your car or a room in your house on Airbnb. You can be a personal assistant to busy families, do their grocery shopping, cook dinner, and help get the kids to sports and activities. Some of these ideas you may be saying, there is no way I can do that. I would never rent out my car or let someone rent out a room in my house. That's fine if that's not your thing. But what could you do? What kind of things can you do on the side that would make you extra money and not take a whole lot of time and or make more money than your regular day job? Ideally, you want to find things that are automated or partially automated, or at minimum have a very high return on your time investment. For example, if you love to write about parenting, you could start a parenting blog and make money with affiliate links in your articles. This means that if you talk about a product that makes parenting easier and then add an affiliate link for people to buy that product, anybody who buys that product, you make a small commission from someplace like Amazon or any other company that you link to. That's not a fast way to cash because it takes a lot of time to build an audience. But it is something you do once and it keeps paying you for years. It's a big upfront time investment, but eventually it pays off if you do it well. There are many people making thousands and tens of thousands of dollars every month in a similar way. You can buy and sell products with a drop shipping store. Building the website is fairly easy to learn. Pick a store theme, find the products to list on a Shopify store, and then build an audience of buyers. This isn't fast or easy to build to a big amount of money, but once you do, you make money even while you sleep. Stores can make you thousands of dollars of profit every month. Really big stores can make you thousands of dollars of profit every day. You can also teach courses online and sell them through websites like Udemy or Teachable. Maybe you can make videos about creating crafts, cooking, productivity, or meditation. You can start a YouTube channel, build an audience, and then make money from YouTube AdSense and with affiliate marketing. This is a very hot trend of making money. It's front-loaded with a lot of time and work to get started and build your audience, but the potential is absolutely astonishing. That would be a great thing you could do on the side if you're inclined to do something like that. Pick something that matches your personality and skills, and then turn that into an additional income source. You can find a hobby or a passion and turn that into added income and wealth. If you like writing, start a blog or offer your writing services to those who are not good writers but need one. Over the years, many of my hobbies turned into side businesses. Some intentionally, some not intentionally. Some made lots of money and some only made very little. But I was able to do what I was passionate about and make money while doing it. Those passion projects were often the most fun because they didn't feel like work. And eventually, one of those passion projects turned into my full-time career and my purpose, and that's teaching and speaking. How do you know what your passion and purpose is? You go out and try many things that seem like a good fit until you find the one that actually is the really good fit, and that also you can turn into a career, wealth, and financial freedom. People make a big deal out of it, but it isn't really a big deal at all. You have to be brave and try many things until you find something that you love and you can turn into money and wealth. Maybe it even turns into your purpose. Once you find a side hustle that makes you a ton of money, and you do that for a few years so that you can stop working altogether. And there are lots of ways to do it. But the most important thing is that you stop talking about it and you start doing it. And the best way to do it is with a side hustle or a business that makes you money even when you are not working. That means automated income, or the very best is passive automated income. We'll talk about that more in the next audio. Again, this is Laws of Millionaires number 4, multiple sources of income. Okay, law number 5 in the Laws of Millionaires. The goal is not to be rich. The goal is to be financially free. This is my favorite law, and this is the one that very few people understand, except for wealthy people. But even many rich people that make lots of money get this one wrong. This is why movie stars, doctors, and millionaires go broke. They don't understand how money works. Even if you're really good at making lots of money, if you don't know how money works, there's a good chance you're going to lose it at some point. Few people understand the game of money. If you don't understand the game of money, then there's no way for you to win it. The goal is not only to be rich, because rich is not necessarily financially secure and definitely not always financially free. You can still lose at the money game even if you make fabulous amounts of money. How can you be rich but still lose the game of money? I personally know many people like this, and it's frustrating to see people get stuck like this because it seems like they are winning. But the reality is that they are only one wrong move away from losing. A buddy of mine starts a business. He makes a ton of money, and then he loses it all because he was only focused on making lots of money. He wasn't building a sustainable business. He laughs about it now because he was young and it wasn't a business he wanted to be in long term anyway. He did it purely for the money. And that's usually a bad idea. Then he builds another business. It was a rocky start, but he learned from his previous experience. He made it a massive success within a few years with revenues over $10 million a year, and he was bringing home close to $2 million a year. Now that sounds like an amazing success, right? Business-wise and financially, yes. Personally, not so much. He was working 14 hours a day and 7 days a week, and he only saw his beautiful daughters briefly each day. Even though his wife worked in the business, they only talked about business. Rarely did they have quality time for each other. After a few years of this, he told me, I can't keep working like this. I'm making a ton of money, but I don't see my family. My wife and I haven't been on a date in years, and we rarely talk about anything but work, even if we are on a date night. But last night, I called a family meeting, and we're making big changes. Within a year, he transformed his business. Most nights they have dinner together, and they have a rule that there is no talking about work after 6 p.m. He still worked many weekends because of the nature of his business, but they schedule 6 weeks of uninterrupted vacation per year. But then he made more changes to his business so that most weekends were family time now too. Do you see where I'm going with this? You can make millions of dollars a year, but if you don't have a life, then you've still lost the game no matter what your bank account says. So what is the game? To win the game of wealth is to be rich in money, time, lifestyle, and happiness. So how do you do that? by having your money work for you by creating multiple sources of income that is automated and mostly passive. What does that mean? Building multiple sources of passive and automated income, meaning that money's always coming in whether you're working or not. You already know the one way, that's your 401 retirement account. That's a passive source of income after you retire, right? What about creating automated income now so that your bank account is getting fatter and fatter even when you sleep, when you're on vacation, eating dinner, and every other moment of the day? And it improves your lifestyle right now from day to day. The goal is to replace your income with passive automated income so you don't have to work. When you have enough money coming in automatically that gives you the lifestyle you want, that is freedom. Financial freedom, location freedom, lifestyle freedom, and the freedom to express yourself in every way possible. So how do wealthy people do this? The most common ways are with real estate property rentals, Airbnb and vacation rentals, business owner or partnership, investing in money markets, stock markets, cryptocurrencies, and businesses, dividend stocks, products and services that have a reoccurring revenue, royalties, memberships, and software as a service, information products and marketing, and network marketing businesses. These are just a few examples, and there are many more. Some are more passive and some are more automated than others. Let me share you an example of what I mean. A person writes a book. They get paid up front by a publisher, and then they get royalties for many, many years. They do the work once, and they get paid for a long, long time, as compared to going to work and getting paid by the hour. If you stop working, you stop getting paid. Once you punch out, once you stop working, you stop getting paid. It's the least efficient way to earn a living. But oddly enough, it's the most common. I can create a product like this one. It takes me months of work, but then it earns me money for years, requiring very little additional work. It's not fully automated because there is marketing and management, but most of the things are done by other people. I take a portion of that money, I invest it into stocks and other markets. I build up my portfolio and it pays me money and it builds value over time. You get it? You use your time effectively to earn money and then put that money back to work for you. Even when people become truly wealthy, most people continue to work because it gives them a sense of purpose and a reason for life. But to win, the idea is to create a financial life where your work is something you do because you love to do it, not because you have a mortgage to pay or worry about putting your kids through college. This is a very different way of thinking than the norm of go to school, get a degree, so that you can get a good job and then one day retire. Building automated income is a very uncommon way of thinking, a very different way of creating a life. And frankly, I wish I would have started in my 20s, but I'm happy I'm doing it now, and I'm happy that I figured out something that works way better than what I did in the past and something that few people ever figure out. And that's part of the reason why I'm helping you figure this out. Can you imagine how different your life would be if you didn't have to work? If you had enough money coming in automatically so that it didn't matter if you went to work or not. You know that you can pay your bills, live your life, and keep building wealth even if you're not working. This is how I can travel nomadically through part of the year. How I can live in whatever country that I want. All my work is online. And if I want to pick up and go away for a week or 2 or 3 or a month, most of the time I can do that. And when I explain this to most people, they don't understand how I can take so much time off. And so I don't explain it anymore to people who have a closed mind to that idea. Imagine having enough financial freedom that you could take a year or 2 off when your kids are born, or to take a year or 2 to travel the world, or have the financial freedom to start a new career or a business without concern about how you're going to pay your bills, because no matter what you do, money is always filling up your bank account. It's like winning the lotto for life. The lotto that pays you thousands of dollars a week for the rest of your life, no matter what. It makes you wonder, why isn't this taught in school? That's because the nature of schools are to teach the masses to be productive in society as workers. This started during the Industrial Revolution when factories needed lots of workers. As more people moved into cities, they needed more skilled labor. Then they needed more educated labor to work in the offices. Societies around the world are based around a system of educating people merely to be good workers. But that doesn't mean that you have to be a worker in the cog of the wheel of the industrial society. You can break free and you can choose to live your own authentic life with wealth and financial freedom. This is your life. You can create any way you want. No matter where you are right now, the question is, will you be brave enough and focused enough to do it? So this was Laws of Millionaires number 5. The goal is to be financially free with automated income. I'll wrap up this audio with an invitation to continue learning about wealth and financial freedom with me in the complete program, Money Vibration Code. If you're not already a member, click on the link on this page to learn more so that you can join the family and create a life of wealth and financial freedom. And if you are a member, thank you, and I'll see you there. I have one more bonus for you that I didn't tell you about. That's the next video.